Casey.
It's Morgan.
And this is Millennial Monologue.
Cue theme music.
It's a good time. Theme music by Jared Lee French.
Yes.
Thank you, Jared, for your contribution.
Thanks.
We prefer, money or checks. We take checks as well, but music will do just fine for now.
You can Venmo us.
Yep. You just have to have our personal phone number, so,
And we'll also take payment in tea and alcohol.
This is also true.
And Thin Mint cookies, because they are back in season.
Yes, everyone, beware. The Girl Scouts are on your block. And they are not the new kids.
And I'll let you know, last I checked, Thin Mints were vegan, so...
Oh, shit, they are?
I think so.
Oh my god, Casey, you're so fucking screwed.
Yeah, I'm avoiding going outside.
If there's like a crunch on our next episode, it's definitely because I'm eating cookies.
Oh,
they're so good. I don't know what they put in them. It must be some sort of magic. They say that it's love, but I don't believe it.
It's teaching capitalism young.
Yes. And you funding some girl to go to Cedar Park,
Yeah.
Yeah. Or for me, SeaWorld, which is bad. I probably shouldn't support people going to SeaWorld. So, Girl Scouts, what are you doing out there? So,
Blackfish made me cry.
Same.
So on that uplifting note,
go buy some Girl Scout cookies. No, but don't be mean to the girls. Just give them a smile. Let them know that you're broke ass poor, and they won't
probably
leave you
judge
alone.
you a little bit because they're not there yet. They don't truly understand, but
this is true. But their cookies are so delicious.
Mm-hmm. And they know it.
They do. They're so good. You know what? You can find some like off-brand ones in stores.
Yes.
Occasionally. I have yet to find one that exactly matches Thin Mints. But I have found one that's pretty comparable to the Samoas, which is like the caramel coconut chocolate.
Okay.
And it's pretty good. And I found some that are pretty close to the Tagalongs, which is the chocolate peanut butter and shortbread cookie.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I guess this year I just have to watch out for Thin Mints and that new lemon cookie that they're going to introduce. If anyone has tried that lemon cookie, please let me know because I feel like I'm going to get obsessed with it.
Please don't let me know because I don't want to know that I would love it.
So. I want to know. I want to know so bad.
But yeah, there's also recipes on Pinterest for knockoff Thin Mints.
Oh. Yeah, but that takes work. I just have to shell out money.
You love baking.
I do. I do. I have
don't
seen
let
a
her
couple,
fool you.
I've seen a couple of Thin Mint recipes. It's just like it takes a lot of work, and I'm also like scared that it's not going to taste the same, and then I'm going to be really upset. Yeah, because especially with that like hardened chocolate, like you have to like wait, and I don't think I can do that. I'm not one of those waiting bakers. I like to eat them fresh out of the oven.
Well,
jam.
As we've said 8,000 times, we're millennials and we love instant gratification.
This is true. But we also love Instagramming our successes, so maybe I will make some, and then I'll put it on the Insta, and I'll be like, look at me.
Do it for the gram.
Always do it for the gram. I say as I have like 30 posts when I've had that Instagram for like 4 or 5 years.
I say since I haven't posted anything since Halloween.
I love it because I was only posting pictures of my pets, and I was like, this is really sad. I should post pictures of myself. So then I started an Instagram for my pets, and now they have more followers than me and more photos.
But there's more of them.
I mean, I guess. But that just proves that they're cuter than me. So nobody wants to look at me. They want to look at my pets. Because like I posted on my Instagram, I was like, hey, I just started this Insta for all my pets if you want to follow it. And then immediately there was like 100 followers. And I was like, what the hell?
That's amazing.
I know. There's probably not 100. They were probably like at 80. But I don't have that many anyways. So still, people were really excited to see my fur babies.
Yes, they're precious and adorable, and so are you. I love looking at you. That's why we Skype more often than socially acceptable. We say it's for the podcast, but we both
do. It's an excuse.
So that brings us to the topic at hand, folks.
Today's episode.
We're going to talk about transition from small town living to big city life.
Big city living. Or some of us like to call it the shitty suburbs.
And mid-sized Midwestern cities.
Yes. We try. We're almost there. I moved to a big city. It was too big. Although I can tell you that I do miss the 24-hour Starbucks that was in California.
24-hour options are one of my favorite things that come with cities.
What made it even better was that it was a 2-minute walking distance from my apartment.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, my wallet was empty, but my tummy was happy. So, that's the important thing.
Yeah. One of my favorite things ever is 24-hour grocery stores.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, because I'm a night owl, so I'm much more productive in the evening. And so I don't do it as much as I used to, but it's not unheard of to find me grocery shopping at like 2 a.m.
Jesus Christ. I mean, that would be like the time to go, though, because,
Oh, yeah, there's nobody there.
Yeah. You don't have to deal with the screaming children and running into your basket or like almost punting them across the store.
Or that awkward interaction of when someone's trying to pass an aisle that you're trying to come out of and you do the, no. You go. Me. Okay, bye.
Right side of the aisle, people. That's the way you do it. Don't stand on the other side of the aisle staring at what you're looking for because you're just blocking the way for everybody else. Yeah. It's annoying. I hate when people do that. Because then, like, as a Midwesterner, I know I feel awkward, like, walking in front of somebody. And I'm like, it's like they're taking a picture, but they're not. You're just like, I don't want to block your view for 1 second, but I need to cut through this aisle, please. Thank you.
I hate to get in between you and your grape jelly selection, but yeah. I got to get around.
I'll just take the other aisle. It's fine.
Yes, I do that all the time.
Hashtag Midwestern niceties. Yeah. For real.
Hashtag OPE.
Yeah. That's true. I use it all the time. When we do that little dance in the hallway, it's just, sorry.
I hate it. Yep. Especially once you become aware of how much you say it. Mm-hmm. And that it's a real thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible. Gotta love being a Hoosier.
I would say it's worse than when you started saying YOLO, ironically, and then you couldn't stop, because this was just ingrained in your DNA from the corn you ate as a baby. So you didn't even know.
There is more than corn in Indiana, and it's OPE. But not opium. You might find some cocaine there in the rich
there's
city,
opium. There's a heroin highway there.
No, there's lots of heroin and meth, for sure.
Yeah. And therefore, lots of meth mouth, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. It's a good time, Indiana. Good old Indiana. So, Casey, you lived up in what we like to call the region.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
The region is a very odd, very, very odd place in Indiana. It's in the northwest corner of the state, south of Lake Michigan, and butts right up against this good old state of Illinois. I don't know exactly why it's called the region, but it's the only part of Indiana that's on Central Time. The rest of Indiana is on Eastern Time. There's lots of steel mills and stuff like that, so there were a lot of people working the steel mills and then the steel going out to other places, so it's just easier for them to be on Central Time. And then just lots of weird stuff, lots of people to commute to Chicago for work. I knew more about what was happening in Chicago than I did in Indiana because of the news stations. I was 20 minutes away from Michigan. Just a very weird place. Gary's there.
Gary, that is the embarrassment of Indiana.
I feel bad for Gary. I do. I feel bad for Gary. I feel bad when people shit on it because, well, that's a whole nother episode. But
I mean, they probably call it the region because calling it the butt of Illinois is not not that appetizing.
Yeah, Illinois won't claim us.
Yeah, I believe it. I feel like, not to shit on people from Illinois, Illinoisans.
What's your nickname? Tell us.
Yeah, what do you call yourselves? But I feel like they think they're better than Indiana, which I get because they have Chicago and we have NASCAR. So,
oh man,
that's a comparison. Broadway and fast cars. It's a good time. Yeah, we just go deaf faster. Well, what about like the nightlife though? You're a night person. Did you have any nightlife in the region?
LOL, no. In case anyone wasn't aware, nightlife is hardly a thing in Indiana.
True.
That I've experienced.
Yeah.
But I mean, anybody who grew up in a small town would know if you needed something to do and you were bored, you went to Walmart and hung out.
Oh my God. Playing tag at Walmart or hide and seek.
I knew people who went to Walmart and hung out before prom because they were bored.
Oh yeah.
Like that's just what people do there. I mean, now everybody's got phones and stuff, so it's a little bit different, but you can sit on your couch and entertain yourself for hours like I do.
That's true. That's true. But Walmart was the place to be.
Yeah, it's
in a town where all you have is Walmart. I mean, we didn't even have a Target, so we also didn't have a mall.
Yeah, my town was super tiny. The closest Walmart or Target was like 20 minutes away. That's another thing, is like growing up in a small town, you're like, oh, half an hour in the car, 45 minutes in the car, an hour in the car, that's nothing.
Right.
But when you talk to somebody who grew up with everything being within 10 minutes from them, they're like, 20-minute drive?
Literally, I heard that the other day. I was at a meeting and they were like, how long did it take you to get here? And I was like, 20 minutes. They go, oh, we should probably go closer to you. And I was like, it was 20 minutes. I'm fine.
It's nothing.
Totally fine. Yeah, because our closest Target was at least 30 to 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Same with the mall. It just wasn't there. Like, did you guys have a bar in your tiny town?
Oh, we had a lot of bars. That was the one thing we did not lack on. There was... I'm trying to think. There was at least 3 bars, and 2 of them are right next to each other.
Nice. We had a liquor store.
We had a liquor store. Our liquor store was like 100 feet from my school playground.
Nice. That's a safe way.
Good job, guys.
Totally safe. Did you meet a lot of drunkards at the playground?
I didn't talk to people when I was a kid, so no.
Good answer. Good answer. Don't talk to strangers.
I didn't talk to much of anyone when I was a kid, so.
Good answer. I didn't either. Wasn't until the 5th grade when one of my classmates forgot my name that I started talking to people. Yep.
It's so sad.
Isn't it? We're only like a class of 70 people and we had been with each other for the past 6 years of our lives and have same classes together.
So that kind of brings me to another thing that people often think is odd when I talk about my hometown. What was your schooling situation like? Like mine was a public K through 12.
Yeah. So we had K through 6 in one building, and then 10 steps away we did have a high school building. It was junior senior high. So we had 2 buildings, but I mean we had the same teachers as everyone. We had the same classes. It was a lot of, it was like living with a family kind of, just
yeah,
same people every day.
Yeah, mine was all one building. My graduating class was 65 people, and I had been with 30 of them since kindergarten.
See, we probably had, I think we had 73 that graduated with us, but I'm pretty sure we had like 95% I had been with since kindergarten, to be honest. We did have a couple of new kids, but most of the time they moved away before we graduated. And most of the kids that I started school with stayed the whole time. we're definitely one of those towns that people rarely move out of because I had the same teachers as my parents did, which is an interesting concept.
That is strange.
Yeah, small town life. And so, like, when they have you in class, they're like, I remember teaching your dad or your mom. And my parents were high school sweethearts too. So then they would talk to me about their dating situation then. And I was like, ugh, please.
See, the thing that goes off in my head is like, why are you remembering the dating situations of your students that you had?
See, but that's like
a long time ago.
That's a good thing about small town teachers though, is because like they remember you and you connect like on a personal level. It's not just like they have you in a class of 100 kids that they want to get out immediately and whatever and whatnot. Or maybe I just had good parents.
I had a lot of teachers who were really jaded and fed up with the system, and they weren't teachers for as long as it sounds like yours were.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that my last couple years at school, they definitely started swapping those teachers out because they were fed up with the system as well. But yeah, no, I get it. Yeah. Being a teacher is hard.
But going back to like since kindergarten thing, we had a long-standing tradition. In my high school yearbook, the senior class, they would take a senior class picture, everybody outside the school. And then they would also do a second picture with all the kids who had been together since kindergarten.
Wow. Our senior tradition, this is actually really sad now that I think about it. Our senior tradition was in kindergarten when we start, we write down a list of like things that we want to do when we grow up and like careers that we want to pursue. And then our teachers take those letters and put them in an envelope. And then our last day of class, senior year, we get those envelopes back.
One of my middle school teachers did that to us and we got to read it our senior year.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did kindergarten Morgan want to do with her life? Do you remember?
Morgan had a lot of dreams. More specifically, I was going to be a sports superstar. I wanted to do volleyball, basketball, swimming, acting. That's always been on my list of things to do. Yeah, I just had a lot of dreams, a lot of ambitions. And then I, went through 13 years of school and I was like, fuck that. I'll just take acting, please. Yeah, I had a lot of different things. I think modeling, singing, I don't know, things that I definitely would not be able to achieve.
Let's all have the self-confidence of 5-year-old Morgan.
Right?
I like her.
Actually, I think I was 6 because I was.
Oh, that's right, because your birthday's in.
Yeah, I was on that edge of almost being a year older than what I was and being the youngest kid in the class to just being the oldest kid in the class. Lucky me.
Were you also the tallest?
Yes, I was. I was actually like one of the tallest kids in the class until 4th grade, I think.
Okay.
I beat all of the guys for a while. It was a good time.
#puberty.
For real, though. I mean, I think it was mostly on me because I was literally like, God, I had to have been at least 5 feet by the time I hit 3rd grade. I grew really quickly and then I kind of stopped.
Okay.
I spurted up again. But yeah, I was a tall, lanky kid. Mm. And then, puberty hit guys and they were like tall, lanky boys. But yeah, I was definitely a tall kid. I think that's why I was so shy though. It's just because I stood out. I didn't need to stand out more. It's fine.
Yeah. And when you're going through puberty and all that stuff, standing out is the last thing you want to do.
This is true.
You just want to assimilate.
This is true. But you know how I can tell that I must have gone through it early is because I have looked the same since like elementary school. My face has not changed. I just got a little bigger is all. That's it. I like the same.
Sometimes you dye your hair.
Yeah. But I remember like being in elementary school bathrooms as a little one and like having to bend down to get the paper towels, and all the kids next to me are like pulling.
Oh
no. But when you're tall, that's when you get recruited for all the sports teams. So I think that's where my dreams came from.
Yeah, I don't think I was that much taller than everybody else, but I was one of the tallest in like 4th, 5th grade, and I remember people being like, you should play basketball because obviously all taller people are good at basketball. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was like, no. I'm not good at it, so I don't want to do it. That was a big thing I did when I was younger. If I knew I wasn't the best, I just wouldn't do it.
Oh, man.
You can ask
brave.
my mom.
Oh, you are a brave kid. I would do it. I'm a peer pressure student. I did it because people said that I should do it. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I did try basketball. And I'm not great at it, but I found that I really quit because I got elbowed a lot because of all the kids that are smaller than me. And
their elbows are right around your spleen.
Gutted me right in the ribs. And I was like, I'm out. Deuces. That's why I swam. It's the only person I could hurt is myself. So, and I did.
I ran track.
You ran track?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, a runner.
I need to get back into it. But yeah, I remember at summer camp we did like an end of the summer camp Olympics every year. And one of the things that I won and I beat everybody at, because when I was little, I was fast. Like, not like those kids with light up shoes who were like, my light up shoes make me fast. Like, no, I was fast.
I believe it.
And I like beat everybody in all the races I was in. And I was like, I'm so good. I'm going to run track when I get in middle school. Oh my God. And then when I was in middle school, I was really, really good. And then everybody else caught up to me in high school.
Yeah.
And I was not as good.
I was not as good. Is there a reason why you chose track over cross country? I'm curious. I'm not a runner, so.
I think it was when I was younger, I was better at sprinting is part of it. Mm-hmm. But also, I think when I was younger, the distance would bore me.
Ah, that makes sense. I could see that.
And it's like, I also think back in that mindset of it would cause me anxiety when someone else was like catching up to me because I would be like, I have to be the best. If you've listened to our earlier podcasts, you know. Well,
highest academic retriever right there.
Yes. But so in sprints, the time that you have that anxiety is much less as opposed to like a 3-mile race. It's just like 300 meters.
That's true. I didn't think about that. To me, it was just like running is running. Because I did track, but I did shot put and discus.
I was not good at those. I could not do any field events. I was really bad at them.
I was really bad at discus. But like I rocked shot put like none other. I occasionally did some sprints, but bad knees don't do well on impacts. So
no long jump for you.
No, and they tried to get me to do long jump again because I have nice long legs.
Same here.
And I tried it. Yeah, I tried it.
Was it disastrous? Like, nope. Mine was.
It was painful, is what it was. They were like, "Wow, that was really good," and I was like, "Nope, done. I'm out."
Yeah.
They wanted me to try hurdles.
Hurdles are scary,
aren't they?
They're so scary.
I could. You know what else is scary? My whole body. What?
Yeah. You know what else is scary? High jump. They tried to get me to do high jump. You run up there and that bar is like the height of your head. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I can't do that. And everybody would be like, it's just like doing a layup. And I'd be like, I can't do a layup.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious. I'd be curious to try those things with like more body coordination and more self-confidence that I have now.
I did not try high jump. That was too terrifying for me. I felt like my legs were too long for that. It would definitely take down the bar. And the other thing that scared me was, is it pole vaulting or is it pole?
Pole vault. We didn't have pole vault because we were so tiny. Yeah. We also didn't have a football team.
Did you have a swim team?
No.
Oh God, I would have died at your school.
We also didn't have a drama department.
I mean, we didn't really either.
We had like nothing.
Yeah. We had like an English teacher who put on one play a year. Which again, it's more than what you have apparently, but yeah, we were pretty small. I was actually surprised that we had a pool because being on the swim team, we had to travel a lot because our other schools didn't have pools. That rhymes. But yeah, I mean, it just wasn't a common thing in a small town. So
Yeah.
we were pretty luxurious, I would say.
Speaking of like non-luxurious things, I found out my senior year that our track was technically not regulation
Nice.
because you know those like really nice all-weather tracks
Yeah.
that are the norm?
Uh-huh.
My high school track was cinder, which basically means it was a gravel dirt mix. And so we had to paint it before every meet. Yeah.
Oh my God, Casey.
Yeah. We would have
You
to
were like
paint it.
the definition of back dirt school.
Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, you could see cornfields from my track. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and
No.
then they went and fucking got an all-weather track after I graduated, and then they put up locked gates so that nobody else could use it.
That's rude.
I hate them so much for so many reasons.
We were surrounded by cornfields as well, but we did have like a small line of houses on one side that I'm sure they would go and use our track occasionally. I mean, I'm pretty sure our track was just pavement, which I feel like isn't good.
Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah. Shin
that makes
splints.
my knees hurt.
Yeah. Mm. Good times. Good times. I could be lying, but it felt like pavement to me. It could be biased. So, I mean, we had good stuff and we had not so great stuff. Like, we definitely didn't support the arts a lot.
We had one art teacher, so I kept, and like in middle school and high school, so I guess you can't really call it an art department. And then we had band and we had choir, and I took choir and I took every single art class I could.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I remember we had like one annual art show, and we also only had like one art teacher who would do like pottery and all the other, I don't even remember the other art stuff. I know there was a ceramics class or something. I don't know. I didn't take them because I didn't have time. Sorry. I'm also not good at art. That's my sister. But our band, I remember like starting out, we were almost like required to do band in 5th grade. And then by the time we got to high school, it was a much, much smaller group of people. But it just got smaller and smaller and smaller. But like our band used to be super respected. And then by the time I graduated, they were like, "Oh, are you going to play at the football game?" Yes? Question mark. That's what we do.
Isn't that the only place we play?
Yes. And I know I hear a lot about like marching bands, how there are a lot of schools you have to like apply and or audition to be on the marching band.
I guess that makes sense.
If you are in band at my school, you have to do marching band. And if you don't do marching band, you can't play concert band. Which was sad because that's why a lot of people quit. Because marching band's hard, people.
It looks hard.
It's really fucking hard. I mean, we were out there for like, band camp is a real thing, and we were out there for I think it was like 4 or 5 hours a day, in the sun.
When you're carrying all those drums.
Yeah, that's true.
Morgan is a fantastic percussionist, for those of you who did not know.
Don't tell Jared. He thinks he's better. But exactly. Yeah. So I played tenors, which for those of you that don't know, they're the 4 drums, sometimes 6, because you can fit 2 tiny ones in between those, and they're about 75 pounds. So they're one of the heavier ones. And then we have all the bass drums, which are obviously pretty heavy, and then you have the snare drummers who are lucky ducks.
I just always think of the tuba players.
Oh yeah, I actually this is funny. I had an accident with a tuba player, marching band one day. He used to be my roommate actually. We my band director would do these funny things at the end of band camp. He would give out special awards or whatever.
So wait, did you go somewhere for band camp, or like did band camp come to you?
It was at our school. We would take the parking lot and block it off so that nobody would park there in the mornings. And we had, we were lucky enough, they supported us for a little while by like painting lines on, before the start of school, because that's when band camp was. And we would practice out in the parking lot. Yeah, so I think band camp was 2 weeks, 1 week or 2 week. Anyways, it was hot. It was hot as hell, especially carrying everything. And we have to memorize all that music, and we have to memorize a step chart, which is also very difficult. So it's a lot of work, people, mental preparation and all that fun stuff. But when you get really involved in it, you stop looking around. So at one point, I crashed basically head on to the tuba player, who's
no.
Corey. Hi, Corey. Hope you're listening, because if you're not, I'm going to crash into you again. But yeah, we crashed pretty hard, and a lot of people don't know this, but I'm really bad under the heat. I get heat stroke really easily. So like I about passed out right then and there because I was already like sweating my face off.
Fair Irish skin.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of sunscreen. Oh man. Band camp smelled like sunscreen all the time. But anyways, after that accident, we had the awards day like the next day, and my band director got me a pool noodle to stick on the end of my tenors so that I would have a bumper. It was a good time.
Hilarious.
I loved it. So yeah, it was hard, but I enjoyed it, and I'm glad I wasn't in part of one of those big schools where you had to like audition or whatever, because that's just annoying.
Yeah.
It already costs a lot of money, so.
Yeah, I did cheerleading for most of high school.
Of course you did. No, I'm kidding.
I was really good at it. Like, I'm not good at tumbling at all. That's one thing that I would like to get better at just because it
Were
looks
you
fun.
a flyer?
So I would be fine going up.
Yeah.
I couldn't come down. And that's something that I've seen reflected in a lot of areas of my life. Like when I've gone hiking on high things, I can go up, but going down is the scary part, which I feel like a lot of other people don't relate to. Like they feel like going up is the scary part.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you have to cradle out. And I would always get in my head and psych myself out and think they weren't going to catch me, which they always caught everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but I would like get psyched out like I was going to do something wrong. So thinking I was going to do something wrong, I would do something wrong. So I elected to not be a flyer. I was a pretty good bass, pretty good back spot. Yeah, that's the word. You know the ones where they like throw people in the air? I never did that. That was terrifying.
I never did.
I threw people in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really fun. I was really, really good at the actual cheer movements, I guess, which sounds lame to say, but
I can see that.
Yeah. And so we did cheer camp a couple times where college cheerleaders would come to us. And the first year we did it, I got a really bad back injury.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was basing, and I won't go into like all the terminology for people who don't know, but the girl in the air, she was on one foot. And so when she's on one foot, both the bases have to be like right next to each other. Sorry, I clapped in your ears for those of you wearing headphones. So they would be like right next to each other. And then the flyer fell, and she fell over my right shoulder. And yeah, like the look on your face, yeah.
No.
We should be like Karen and Georgia. What's my face doing? Tell them what my face is doing. Morgan got really, really wide-eyed and looked very, very scared.
All I can think about is like a knee snapping the wrong way. That's what I think about. It's terrifying.
That sounds so bad.
Yeah, see?
Cheerleading's dangerous for those of you who don't believe it. It's very hard and it's very dangerous. Stunting is a very impressive thing. But so anyway, this girl fell over my shoulder, and like I rolled, like I don't know what happened, but my whole spine cracked. She fell on top of me, and then I've had like low back problems ever since. It's gotten better, and I've gone to a chiropractor a little bit, but yeah.
That's why you don't do cheerleading, people. That's why you don't do it. It's dangerous.
It's totally fun though.
Dangerous. I, believe it or not, tried cheerleading when I was a child. Because I had done a lot of gymnastics and I was in dance. So obviously next step would be cheerleading, and I quit because the dancing wasn't hard enough for me. I didn't enjoy the cheer aspect. I just wanted to dance.
There's no real dancing and cheering unless you get to like competition level, and then it's its own kind of quote unquote dancing.
Right. Right.
That's my cat using the litter box in case you can hear that.
Yummy. Smells great.
Okay, so Morgan and I both went to college in Indianapolis, which, in case you haven't been listening, is a much bigger city than what either of us grew up in. And I'm confident in saying for both of us that was the first time living in a city.
Yes.
And then after that, we both moved. Well, I stayed in Indianapolis for a while after college, and then Morgan moved to California like the amazing little butterfly she is.
I did.
I ended up in Cleveland after Indianapolis, and Morgan ended up in Austin after California. So I guess, Morgan, do you want to speak to, you probably had a lot more culture shock than I did.
I had a big culture shock. The first being everything can be within walking distance, which is weird to me.
Yeah.
Like stores, grocery shopping. I could take bags out of my apartment, walk to the store, and bring stuff home. There was a lot more people. First of all, I mean, the very first thing I noticed was the increase of the homeless population.
Yes.
It makes sense to me that there are so many people who are homeless out west and even down south because it's warmer during those cold months. But it's just, I mean, it blows your mind. And it also kind of opens your eyes to see what kind of condition the rest of the country is in. I didn't see that in my small town at all.
Well, in Indianapolis, I feel like the homeless population either isn't as visible or isn't as big.
Right.
Which I hope for everybody's sake that it's just not as big, but it would be really sad if it's just not as visible because then they're not getting the help they need.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that was one of the biggest things I noticed, and especially that there's such a big difference between the West Coast and the Midwest, like just how people interact with each other. Like Midwest, you pass by somebody, you're going to say hi, you're going to like lock eyes with them, and you're not going to stop looking at each other until somebody greets the other, asks them how the day is. You know, you talk about the weather, and then you talk about your cousins that you have in common.
I do that polite little tight smile as I pass people, and it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah. Yep, I do that a lot too. I'm just no words.
Yep.
Just smile.
Yep.
Little smile. And then also, you know, I don't know about you, but in the Midwest, my dad taught me to just wave at everyone who passes by. Like when you're driving,
Really?
you know, just like wave, raise your hand up, you know, like you probably know them. They're probably our neighbors, you know, just wave at them.
Okay, that is foreign to me. Maybe it's a region thing because like the region is a very odd place.
Oh, we waved at everyone.
No, we're not that friendly. Like we're still Midwest friendly, but like we're not that friendly.
Yeah. Well, I get it. I mean, I'm sure some people have heard the stories about like celebrities breaking down in Indiana or, you know, just nicer places in the Midwest, and somebody will pull over and help them instead of murder them. I would not trust that. I would not trust that so much on the West Coast. And I mean, even then you're risking somebody not stopping.
Well, all the freaking serial killers, like 75% of them came out of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Bay Area in the 1970s.
It's terrifying.
Something about that beautiful fresh air just corrupts people, I guess.
I mean, it is. Oh my God. The scenery in California is just to die for, but you got to get through all of the people to get to the scenery. So that was the biggest thing I noticed in California. And then moving to Austin, it's a little bit more country. Since Austin is Texas, but not really Texas, it's hard to compare it to the rest. Because there are definitely bigger cities like Dallas and Fort Worth and Houston and San Antonio. Austin is the least cityest of the cities, I would say. But it's slowly getting larger because more millennials are moving here, even though we're telling each other not to move here. I'm one of the culprits. But it's nice. There is still a pretty decent size of people who are homeless out here, which is sad. But I feel like people are nicer out here. We kind of have like the Midwest mentality a little bit more, a little more chill.
Southern hospitality.
Yeah, sort of. But not quite Southern because, you know, they're really judgmental. And in Austin, we're not judgmental. But unless you wear cowboy boots that aren't meant to be cowboy boots, like the really decorative ones that just don't make sense. Because if you're not going to wear them in the poop, why would you wear them? It just doesn't make sense to me as a farmer.
I really want a pair of red cowboy boots.
Of course you do. I knew it.
I really do. But like, obviously I'd buy them secondhand because leather. But like, cowboy boots are durable, people.
They are. Yeah, I've had the same pair of boots for 8 years.
Yeah.
And I use them to ride in, not to go to country concerts.
And then I'll wear my red cowboy boots when I come visit you, not in Texas because your horses aren't in Texas. But
yes. One of the things I noticed out here, specifically in Austin, one of the things they have is like a lot of local stuff. And I know that in the Midwest, I see a lot more of like, I don't want to say corporation type industry food stuff or whatever, but pretty much like there's just less mom and pop stuff.
Lots
and
of
more
chains.
like, yeah. And I mean, that's because we don't really have city areas, so they wouldn't be able to thrive. So that's one thing I noticed. And we also don't really have suburbs in Indiana. We have
there are cities in the region that consider themselves suburbs of Chicago, but people from Chicago laugh at them. So
doesn't count. Yeah. Whereas out here, I was really surprised to like move into a neighborhood that wasn't like gated or anything. It was just a neighborhood full of houses. And like we did have trees 6 months ago. And then 6 months later, there were 200 more houses. How does that happen?
We'll talk about it on a later episode.
Yes. But I mean, that was one of the big things I noticed moving from small town to bigger city.
Would you say there was a lot of differences between the mid-sized city of Indianapolis, either that you like or dislike?
I think that would be hard for me to say because I didn't really experience Indianapolis. I spent most of my time there working my ass off. And I also commuted
That's a fair point.
My house to college for the first 2.5 years.
You
which,
really
by
only
the
lived
way,
in the city for like 2 years.
Yeah.
College.
I drove an hour from my house to college and then an hour back home every day, people.
In a car that was as old as her.
Yes. It was 1 year younger than me. So it was young.
Yes.
But yeah, I drove it every day. Got to school within an hour. An hour. No traffic, people. It just takes an hour to get there. And then I came back.
Side note, I feel like that's something that only small town people can appreciate is the true beauty and peacefulness of back roads.
Oh my God, it was great. Not even, I mean, like even our highways look like back roads. Those like, I mean, they're obviously highways like 65 and 465. Yeah. But,
I hate 465.
Right. I drove on one highway though that was considered a highway, and it was only 2 lanes. You know, one way going one way going the other way.
There's a main highway that goes through right in the middle of my town that's only 2 lanes.
Yeah.
My hometown.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Now I drive in like 6-lane traffic. Oh, that was another thing in California, like going from 4 lanes in a highway to 6 lanes to 8 lanes. And you're just like, why? And why is there stop traffic with 8 lanes? Why is this happening?
Can you imagine how many people just are in that block of traffic?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I did get introduced to a carpool lane, though. That was interesting. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. What makes Cleveland a city for you?
Well, one of the things I find really interesting, and I was actually talking to somebody about this the other day, something I noticed in Indianapolis, there's not a lot of people who are diehard in love with Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan.
Me either.
Indianapolis to me is just kind of meh.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not much to do. I feel like it doesn't have much culture. Lots of chain restaurants, not really a lot of its own stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I was not a fan.
I mean, people move to Indiana, I feel like, to get to the country. They don't want to be surrounded by people. And I feel like Indianapolis is a city that represents that in a way.
Yeah. And also there's weird kind of baby suburbs and like towns out like that are kind of the suburbs, but people think they're like really uppity.
Yeah.
And think they're better than everybody else. For those of you who did not know, Eagleton is based on Carmel, Indiana, and it's not far off.
Truth.
Um,
You hear that, Carmelites? I hope you do.
And also, one of my cousins went to school with the creator of Glee, and whatever like their rival town in Glee was also based on Carmel.
Nice.
So you can see that Carmel, Indiana, leaves quite the impression. And that's how it's pronounced. It's not caramel, it's Carmel.
Yeah. Well, we don't have the extra
Carmel,
A.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
Anyway, enough trash talking Carmel.
Morgan. But anyway, so like that's one thing I did notice. I also love Cincinnati, and I was about to move to Cincinnati for a while. But in Ohio, they have what they call the 4 C's, which is Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, and corn.
Like the corn on your foot, or
like corn that you grow out of the ground.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Also, fun fact, most of the corn in Indiana grown feeds livestock. It's not for human consumption directly. But yeah, that's the thing I noticed is people in Cincinnati and people in Cleveland are die-hard in love with their city, and that's something I think is really cool. How did it go? I heard Clevelanders described as like hopefully pessimistic, I think is what it was, or like pessimistically hopeful, something like that. It was very funny, and apparently it's very, very accurate. I mean, like the Cuyahoga River caught on fire 51 years ago. It caught on fire more than once, and that's probably the only thing you know about Cleveland. That was the only thing I knew about Cleveland. But one of the things that I really like is they make a commitment to, well, at least now, make a commitment to bettering their environment. There's a national park like 45 minutes away. There's a whole bunch of parks around Cleveland. It used to be called the Emerald Necklace, so that's really cool. There's also a lot of diversity in Cleveland because, that comes with it being an old manufacturing city, lots of immigrants coming here, blah, 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 all of that jazz. But, like, because of redlining, it was really, really segregated. So there's still, like, a little Italy, there's, like, all that kind of stuff. So, but also Cleveland celebrates its diversity now. So right. It's really interesting. There's a lot more to do that I appreciate, a lot more free stuff, One of the things I really love about Cleveland that you wouldn't expect, there's a fantastic and diverse art scene. So the theater I work at now, one of the things I asked them in the interview process was, how do you compare with your competitors? And they were like, we don't really have competitors. Like every theater is kind of doing their own thing. Everybody has their own niche. And we do our thing, everybody else does theirs, and we all just kind of coexist happily and we support each other. And I was like, that is the best answer I've ever heard. So that's what I like, is it's a little bit everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, with Cleveland, I think you're definitely getting like the Midwest niceties, but also like the city upgrades, like having everything at arm's reach.
Right. And also it's on the very east side of Midwest.
Right.
So I think there's like a sprinkle of East Coast attitude, which I fucking love East Coast attitudes.
To each their own.
Like just the boss assness of women that come from the East Coast and they're like, we don't fuck around. Like, this is what I think. There's no like, I'm sorry, this is my opinion. I'm sorry. Like that you find with most Midwesterners. I fucking love it. But yeah, so I think you're getting a little sprinkle of that. And you also have Midwest niceness, where we're starting to get some gentrification, but I think a lot of people are aware of it and fighting against it. From my experience, and I haven't been here very long, but from my experience, there's just a higher level of awareness here for social justice, which I really appreciate.
You definitely don't find that in Indiana. But
no.
If you had to pick like one thing that you miss about the region, could you find something?
Morgan, what's my face doing?
Dun, dun, dun. Casey has shrunken into turtle mode. She has gone into her shell.
Oh, man.
You hear that, everyone? There's nothing to miss about the region.
I do miss the beaches and the dunes. I miss that because so much of Cleveland has really blocked off most of their lakeshore. So there's not that much beach, and the dunes in Northwest Indiana are a very rare thing. I think the only other dunes in the United States are like in the Southwest. But yeah, I miss that a lot. That's really cool.
That's the one Indiana destination I actually haven't been. I've never been to the Indiana Dunes.
Part of it's now a national park. If you walk through the national park, you can hear my voice in a Reader's Theater play. No big deal.
Hear that, everyone? You can hear Casey's voice anytime you want.
Yeah. It's called Sacred Sands, and it's written by David Hoppy and directed by John Green. Not that John Green. He's British. He's amazing. But yeah, go to the Indiana Dunes, find the app. Maybe I'll put it on our Facebook page if I can find it. And for free, you can listen to me and lots of other people talk about the history of the dunes and conservation. And then, like a year after that happened, it became a national park. So that's really, really cool.
That sounds like a fun trip.
Yeah.
To do that. Be a tourist in Indiana.
Yes.
I'm going to show up with my California ways, though.
You're going to be like, a beach I can't surf on? What's this?
What is this? Oh, God, no. The beaches in California were amazing.
I bet.
Although there is trash. So, it still reminds you that there's pollution out there.
Oh, yeah. There's still people at the Indiana Dunes, so there's still trash.
There's still people. Damn people.
But yeah, there's lots of lakeshore in Indiana. And a lot of it's protected, which is awesome.
That's good. That's the one thing that I miss is just land. Just area where, obviously there are people everywhere, but just area where there are no people. Like I miss being outside and screaming and not having anyone come to my rescue because they think I'm in trouble. Really, I'm just screaming out my day. I'm
really nervous to do that anywhere ever.
Yeah.
Because I listen to so much true crime stuff that I'm like, people are going to think I'm getting murdered.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I guess another thing I do miss is when I was in high school or like back home from college and stuff, and I'd be really stressed out or really upset. Thankfully, I don't get to this level much anymore. Mm-hmm. But what I would do is I would get in my car, I would go on back roads, I would intentionally get lost. So then I would have to, I would work out all my emotions, get lost, and then I would have to calm down and find my way back.
It was really hard for me to get lost just because I felt like I could navigate country roads really easily. Now being in the city, apparently I get lost.
I wouldn't pay attention to street signs is the thing. I would just I feel like turning left. And then, when we had them, I should say.
Street signs. I just went off of landmarks. What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, hey, there's the neighbors.
Pay attention. Yeah. I would be I would go out of my way, and then I would be I feel like turning left, and I would just go until I got lost.
I knew that place like the back of my hand. I drive everywhere pretty easily. I didn't really go outside of the county, I guess, except for school. And that's why I got lost really easily in Indianapolis, because I didn't know how to navigate. And I was like, why does 100 not come after 200? What? I don't understand.
Indianapolis streets are a clusterfuck.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Trip down memory lane. But I think, everything has its pros and its cons. There are definitely a lot of people who enjoy living the country life and who don't mind. Like my parents don't mind having to drive 20 minutes to the grocery store. Not that I really do either. But it's nice to have it a little bit closer. But I do have to, deal with a lot more people. I have to deal with a lot more traffic. And I have to deal with the rising housing prices.
Right.
Whoopee. And go from 20 acres of land to 0.1, which is interesting.
Yeah. But it's okay, Morgan, because eventually we'll buy a plot of land in the middle of nowhere. And
that's true. We just got to move somewhere.
To our roots.
Somewhere in Oklahoma or Montana. Actually, let's not move to Oklahoma because tornadoes. Ooh, that's another thing that we should get into. Tornadoes, because they don't have basements here.
That's right. Tornadoes are a big thing in Indiana. The only reason, I think in my entire lifetime, there was only one tornado that touched down in the region. And it was very minimal. It just kind of boop.
Yeah.
That equivalent of touchdown, but it was actually Lake Michigan that saved us because of that weird weather.
Oh.
Also, lake effect snow off the lake has prepared me to live in Cleveland, so.
We had a tornado twist our football field goal.
Ooh.
That was fun. Yeah, and actually, I think we had to replace our track because it tore up our track area. And I watched a tornado go down my road one time. That was fun.
Were you one of those people that just stands outside and watches it?
Oh, hell yes. You know I am. It's so much
It's
fun.
It's a very Midwest thing to do.
Just take a chair out and put some cement blocks down on it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up for today.
Yeah.
Monologue.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Good times. There's no place like home.
There's no place like home.
Click, click, click. I'm still here. God damn it. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed our Hoosier memories.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what Hoosier stands for because I've had to look it up 40 times and I still don't remember exactly. I know there was some guy involved or something, but also we were not named after the movie, just so everyone knows.
I've never seen the movie.
Oh.
Fun fact, part of the movie was filmed where Morgan and I went to college.
This is true. I'm very surprised, though, that you haven't seen the movie because it was definitely something we were required to watch in school. Not like literally required, but, at the same time, they were like, oh, it's a day before break, so we're going to watch Hoosiers.
Okay, well, the movie Prancer. Did you ever see the movie Prancer?
No.
Oh, part of that was filmed like 20 minutes away from my hometown, and it's one of the few movies filmed in Indiana because terrible tax rates for film.
Before we go, there's one movie that I must recommend. It was filmed in Kokomo, Indiana.
Oh, Kokomo.
We watched it in our film class because it's one of the worst movies ever made. But it's hysterical. It's called Terror Squad, which doesn't sound hilarious, but it's got so many like continuity errors and like the acting is like terrible and it's funny but not funny. But I highly recommend if you can find it somewhere because I feel like it's a blacklisted movie. It was filmed in Kokomo, Indiana, and it looks like it was filmed in Kokomo, Indiana.
That's probably why the tornado hit Kokomo so badly a few years ago.
Flatten that Starbucks. And just so everyone knows, the Beach Boys song. Is it the Beach Boys that sing Kokomo? Anyways, that song about Kokomo is not singing about Kokomo, Indiana.
I didn't even know there was a song about Kokomo.
Way down in Kokomo.
That just sounded like a beachy song. So maybe
I want to take you to Bermuda, Bahama, I'm pretty mama, Tiago, Montego, baby, why don't we down at Kokomo? Sorry, everyone should have put your headphones on mute. It's not about Kokomo, Indiana. Anyways, thank you all for listening to.
We love you so much.
Yeah, to my singing and to our discussion of Indiana. I hope you learned some stuff, and if you ever want to visit Indiana, also if you have cool places for us to visit, let us know as well because we're looking for a road trip in the future, and cool cities to visit would be great. So
especially on the East Coast.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Just kidding. Yeah. East Coast for sure. Hit us up with those cool cities. You can find us on Spotify and Anchor.fm, The Millennial Monologue. Find us on Instagram at Millennial Monologue Podcast. Sweet bejesus. We tend to update things there. I'm starting to upload my road rage to our Instas. So check it out if you're excited to see an angry Morgan. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's sad. Actually, most of the time it's sad. It's fine. I'm proud of it.
If she's posting it, she thinks it's funny. So
true. Or not true.
I'm going to hide a camera in her car so you all can experience her road rage real time.
Oh, it's great. It's super great. But anyways, yeah.
I just realized I'm wearing an Indiana sweatshirt.
Oh. I'm wearing a California sweatshirt.
This sweatshirt is from the Indiana Historical Society. Abby, if you're listening, maybe she is. We both interned there for museum theater, and we researched a Jim Jones exhibit because for those of you who did not know, Jim Jones is a Hoosier, and he raised money for the People's Temple by selling monkeys door to door. This is real history. I'm not making this up.
Nice. That's why all Hoosiers drink the Kool-Aid.
Oh, God, please. Actually, it was grape flavored Flavor Aid that he laced with cyanide.
I see.
So,
same thing. Oh yeah.
I feel bad for Kool-Aid.
It's fine. Grape is disgusting anyways. If you're drinking grape anything, you should just stop. It's just
purple
stuff.
drink.
No. Grape flavor is disgusting. Grapes are delicious.
Any Indiana Gamma Pi-Fis listening, I hope you appreciate that purple drink reference. Chef D forever.
All right, y'all. We're going to let you go.
This is another thing that Midwesterners do is we draw out our goodbyes. Painfully so.
We're the worst. I mean, I'm pretty good at Irish goodbyes when I'm in social situations, but, you know, other than that, we're out in the parking lot talking for hours after dinner's over.
And saying 9 times, well, I'm going to let you go.
Bye. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah. No, but for real, we're going to let you go. We got to save some stuff for the future. So I know we're really interesting, but we got to go for sure.
We're amazing and you love us.
Yeah. So be sure, follow us, like us, subscribe to us. We're also on YouTube. Should probably mention that too. So you can watch us if you really
share.
Yeah.
Hate watch.
Please share us. Do whatever makes you happy. So if that means listening to us and making fun of us, that's fine. Because as artists, we get that any day. Yeah. Judgment is what we live for.
And also, our self-esteems are unshakable. So
it's because mine is so far down through the floor, it's not even funny. Don't think it can get lower.
Maybe we'll talk to our therapist about you.
Oh, we will for sure talk to our therapist about you. You bitch about me, I'm a bitch about you, but I'm going to do it in the privacy of my therapist room.
In a productive way.
Yeah. Something that's going to help me and not you. But if you could help us by sharing us, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Totes. All right, guys. We love you.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Bye.
Bye. Your E's are so much longer than mine.